Hey Dodgers Nation, on this episode of the 3 Up 3 Down podcast, we're going to be talking about the Dodgers' struggles against left-handed pitching, Trevor Bauer's pitch counts, and Steven Souza Jr.'s incredible Friday night in the desert. Welcome back to the 3 Up 3 Down podcast, a Dodgers Nation production. Be sure to check out our great content on DodgersNation.com and the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Please subscribe, rate, review. That is where you'll find the flagship Blue Heaven podcast with Clinton Brook and Dodgers Dugout with Doug McCain. But you can find me, your host, Eric Yulo, your host for this 5-minute Dodger podcast on Twitter and Instagram. That is at EEULAU. I am recording this Sunday evening. The Dodgers have completed the sweep of, by far, the worst team in baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks. But what we're going to talk about today is the Dodgers' struggles against left-handed pitching, Trevor Bauer pitch counts, and the return of Steven Souza Jr. to professional baseball, coming back from a lot. The guy who had some great years with the Diamondbacks, but was out of baseball. Or not out of baseball, was out of the majors for a time, trying to work his way back from a pretty rough knee injury, but just had a hell of a Friday night. And we're not going to do a big stat deep dive on it. We're gonna talk about it and just enjoy the moment for Mr. Souza. But here it is, the Dodgers' struggles against left-handed pitching. And Dave Roberts spoke about this on the pregame press conference today and admitted that the Dodgers need to be a lot better against left-handed pitching. And this year, they're in the bottom third in average, OPS. They're almost top 10 worst strikeout rates, the highest rate of striking out per plate appearance. And I think it's the source of some of the offensive inconsistency in addition to the injuries. But what's scary is when you think about this and looking at the splits, Bellinger and Seager are both guys that don't hit lefties well because they're lefties, which is it's pretty standard for left-handed batters. Those two guys Bellinger hasn't really played at all this year. Seager's been out for weeks, and our lefty splits are still horrible. And the reason I put multiple years here is it feels like pretty much since the Dodgers have been relevant, this team has struggled against lefties. And yeah, there's a title year in there, and there's some deep playoff runs, World Series runs in there. It's just continued to be a bugaboo. Justin Turner for his career, which is odd, doesn't really hit lefties all that well, even though he's a right-handed hitter. But you look at the four guys who've been healthy this year, the everyday players. You're talking about Mookie Betts, you're talking about Gavin Lux, you're talking about Justin Turner, you're talking about Will Smith. All four of those guys have struggled against left-handed bats, and they've been in the lineup a lot. I don't know if Chris Taylor on there. He's hitting lefties pretty damn well. Not too concerned about that. But if this team is going to win the NL West and overtake the Giants, and I know it's only June, some people got upset last week looking ahead too much in the standings, they got to handle left-handed pitching better. When you have Caleb Smith, a guy who has a 4.25 ERA for the Diamondbacks on Friday, one hit you. And I know he's got an ERA under 3.5. I think it's 3.29, I think, for this year. I'd have to check that. But that guy should not be one hitting you. It just goes to show you have these no-name guys who are lefty starters that just kind of shut down the Dodgers, and it's led to a lot of inconsistencies. A lot has been made about Trevor Bauer, his workload, and his pitch counts, especially since he struggled in his Braves appearance and his Rangers appearance, where he gave up 7 earned between those two games. We looked great on Friday night. I know it's against the Diamondbacks, but something to keep in mind. And I'm not ruling it out that his ERA's gone up a bit due to some of the workload things, but I really just think it's part of the ebbs and flows of a season. Trevor Bauer's a different cat. He's a cerebral guy. He's very clearly locked into the kinetic piece of his body and the physiology of that. And he's in conversations constantly with Dave Roberts. He always tells him how he's feeling on each given day of his start. And I don't have a problem personally with Trevor Bauer, the amount of innings he's pitched. And not to sound cold-hearted either, but we don't have this guy signed for 7 years. So if he's willing to go deep into games consistently, he only has one start, less than 6 innings. That was against the Cubs. He's been, last 2 seasons, he's been top 10 in total innings pitched in the league. I don't have an issue with him going deeper into games. And the point I was going to get to is, we don't have this guy signed long term. So if he wants to ride it hard, if he wants to redline it from time to time, I'm good with that. And he feels comfortable doing that. And he's having those conversations with Dave Roberts. And also, our bullpen is not where it needs to be right now to handle the workload of short starts. So it's something to continue to monitor, much like Dave Roberts said. I'm not going to freak out that Trevor Bauer averages 105 pitches per appearance. I just think that's how he's wired. He's always just thrown a lot of innings. And I don't think anyone was complaining last year when they won the Cy Young and he was top 10 in innings pitched. All right, we got to get to this just because it's fun and we do a lot of stat breakdown, all kinds of things. But let's just enjoy the fact that this guy made an incredible comeback to professional baseball. Didn't really hack it with the Cubs. Didn't make it with the Astros. Has this incredible catch in a 0-0 game in the bottom of the 7th against his team that let him go. And then he hits this go-ahead solo shot. And he is just jacked up. He had a great interview talking about it. Can't say enough about it. Love this photo I stole from Reddit. And look, he's not going to save the Dodgers, but if that's all we get out of Steven Souza is that just incredible game against the Diamondbacks, powered us to the win, gave us that go-ahead run, I'm good with it. That's all I got. Make sure to check out the Blue Heaven podcast. A lot of injury updates. Make sure to check out Doug McCain, everything he's doing. And thank you, and I will see you on the other side.